Hoodie guy coming back with another Kaspa video. Well, the hash rate is heading back up, hanging out back over 1 exahash. That's nice to see. We're 18 days away from 10 blocks per second, tons of L2 EVM, smart contract work being done by a bunch of different projects. And so we're up to 41 on CoinMarketCap. That's nice to see. Will the price rise and pull back on May 5th? Sometimes you see that happen on events. People really start getting hyped up, and then it'll be cool, but sometimes, like when Cardano got its smart contracts, day one of 10 BPS is not going to have as much activity as 2 or 3 months down the road. So just something to keep in mind. None of us know the short-term price action. So I could potentially see it rising and then maybe pulling back on May 5th, but we'll see. Right now, up about 0.5%. Looks like the stock market's down a little bit, pre-market right now. Right here, this is the Kaspa-18 chart. Looks like it could be breaking out maybe a little bit back up. It'd be nice if it got back up to an all-time high in Bitcoin. I think right now, if it did, it'd put it up around 35 or 40 cents if it went back to an all-time high on this chart. You can see the dollar is going down. It's about the weakest level it's been since March of 2022, so about the weakest it's been in 3 years. Could collapse. This is an interesting video. I could put a link in the description. This lady's is talking about some CCP master plan. Now, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Apparently, they had some secret document that you could only read in a closed room for Chinese officials, regional officials, maybe, and apparently a couple remembered enough to tell some other insiders that were in exile. Now, I don't know how accurate it is, but it's an interesting video. I listened to, about 30 minutes of it. And so part of it is this, there's more to it, but, yesterday they announced that the tariffs for Chinese imports are 245%. So basically there's no way we can import or order. I mean, that's just, our 100 orders, $100,000. We'd have to come up with $245,000 additionally. There's no way we can do that. So our product will just be stuck in China. Basically, the money will be stuck in China. If some companies are big enough, maybe they can weather the storm. 245%. At this point, anything on top of that, I don't think will matter too much, because that basically, cuts off China. And so it's unfortunate that we got money stuck there. Hopefully something gets worked out. You can go and read how China's got the upper hand. You can read about how the United States has an upper hand. Overall, the United States has a larger military, larger economy, a more diverse economy. China's got a less diverse economy, but they also have some stuff like rare earth minerals and things like that. Part of that lady's video said that one of the goals is China wants to steal our allies, like European countries, Australia, South Korea, Japan. They want to buddy up to them and kind of push us out of the picture, push the United States out of the picture. They want the rich Chinese and officials to have to disclose their foreign holdings and sell U.S. stocks and bonds. A lot of rich Chinese have their children living over here. They own real estate in the United States. They have, exposure to the United States stock market. And they're also talking about basically considering it like a war and going into rationing. The lady's also pointing out that this might be making some people against Xi, and some people don't want to sell off all their stuff. They don't want to have to tell them about everything. And if they don't sell off their U.S. stocks, the high-ranking officials that are rich, it could be considered treason. And you also don't want how well is the population going to take rationing? Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know, but it's good to take everything under a belt. I think this stuff will matter too, like what's going on May 5th with Kaspa. If there's still kind of more of this trade war, then markets could be down. If this starts to lift, then everything will be rising. Could help with the price action for Kaspa as well. Say like Harbor Freight's an example. They have cheap tools. I don't know where they're all made. I'm sure they have more than one country where they're getting it, but I wouldn't be surprised if a large majority is from China, or at least half their stock. They did $8 billion in revenue last year and 28,000 employees. I don't see how at 245%, there's no way they can maintain their prices. Their sales might decline, or their prices are going to have to rise. And then you also have Trump online And you have Trump saying that we're getting rich on tariffs, and you also have people, like he said that prices are going down, but prices are going to be going up in the United States. Doesn't matter. It's expensive to shift to another country, or the United States is still really expensive. This guy has brought 20 billion in because he said they brought they got 20 billion in his first 3 months, but that's not that big a deal because they brought in 70-80 billion in tariffs last year, which would be about 20 billion every 3 months. So they really, especially Watcher Guru, is trying to frame everything on this like it's amazing. And the tariffs are only kicking into place now, but what you're going to see is the way that the Tariff Act worked in 1930 is that there started to be just less foreign products imported into the United States, less exports out. So we don't know how this is going to shake out, but part of the problem is there's everyone against Trump is everything is like China's winning everything, and then everyone on the right side is everything Trump's doing is amazing. And it's somewhere in between. China's got some cards to play. The United States has cards to play. Overall, the United States is a little bit more powerful. And then they just try to, gaslight that every single move they make is going good, because 20 billion is basically probably not that far away from what was brought in by tariffs. And then USA's getting rich on tariffs. Well, who's paying the fucking tariffs? It's the company importing. And my guess is that at least half, if not more, maybe 75% of imported goods are American companies. So it's taxing those companies like my company. And there's no way we can, get $245,000 to bring in our $100,000 order. Our prices would be so high that no one would buy our product, and we'd have to borrow money to finish that order, and then we just would basically be stuck. Some people just don't know. When they say that the China tariffs, it's on Chinese imported goods, it's on the importer pays it, and some people have no idea about that. They just think China's somehow paying it all, but basically a lot of U.S. companies are getting taxed right now, and eventually that'll get passed on to the consumer, and the prices won't be going down. And my guess is they might have to start printing some money, because there could be a slowdown of the economy if this keeps up for much longer. So I don't know. Anyways, there's exciting stuff going on Kaspa. We'll see what the price action does. I wouldn't be surprised if it rises up to May 5th and maybe a little pullback, because they'll flip the switch. It'll be cool, but at the end of the day, it still takes more months for just all the things being built and more people to flock into the ecosystem. But hopefully it pushes us into the 30s, and we can get back into the the 20s on CoinMarketCap. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.